So thank you for coming. Namaste. So my heart is thumping because I'm so happy. So we're gonna start in a seated meditation. So however you want to sit is fine. For those of you who have props, you're welcome to use your props. Because I wasn't sure, despite this being a yin class, who would have things with them, I'm gonna try to teach it. I will teach it as if none of us have any props, but you're always welcome to use things that make sense for you. Okay. And welcome my Zoomsters, and likewise with you if you want to use things. Oh, hi, yes. So we'll start in a seated meditation. Maybe some of you sit on a blanket or you can perch up on your heels. And then when you're ready to, we're gonna close our eyes. So as you close your eyes, bringing your drishti and your awareness into this vessel, into this body. And you can allow yourself on your next exhalation to soften your shoulders down. Maybe bend your elbows to encourage that from happening. Allow yourself to take an inhale and bring the breath in through your nose, expanding through your heart space, opening your ribs left and right, upper back. And then let yourself exhale, just gently drawing the navel into the spine and bringing all the breath out of the body. We're going to take a couple more breaths here. So you can continue just inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Some of you might naturally come into that ujjayi breath. So the ujjayi breath is when we sort of bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. And as you activate the tongue, you'll feel a slight constriction in the throat. And for most of us, we'll start to feel this elongation of the breath. So both the inhale and the exhale. And for some of us, we'll start to hear that oceanic sound. So while you're here in this stillness, enjoying the sense of appreciation for this very moment. Enjoying this sense of wonder as we approach the unknown. And so if any of you have some intention for your class today, I invite you to bring that intention into this space, into your body, onto your mat, towards your practice. And if nothing comes to mind, that is perfectly fine. You're going to take another inhale through your nose, again opening the heart space and almost your belly expanding forward. And again, as you exhale, drawing the navel in and letting all the breath come out. So this full participation with yourself and the world. Allow yourself to relax the space around your eyes. Relax the jaw. Relax the shoulders. On your next exhale, allow yourself to tuck the tailbone slightly, no matter your variation of seat. And when you inhale, drawing the crown of the head up to the sky. And then you're all welcome to keep your eyes closed, or you can start to gently flutter your eyes open, and we're gonna start with a little side body stretching. So you're gonna bring your right hand out to the right, and we'll inhale, we'll draw the left arm up and over. Turn your left palm to the right, and then draw the arm over the ear. Push your left hip down towards the heel. So if you tend to feel tight in your upper back, you can bend the elbow and draw the heart forward. For those of you who are a little bit more open, just really reaching your left fingertips over to the right and maybe arcing the side body. Relax your neck. We're gonna take 2 more breaths here. Feeling again, the heart space opens. Maybe this time more into the side of the heart. On the exhale, softening somewhere. Take another inhale. And let yourself completely exhale. So we'll use our inhalation to transition. You guys look beautiful. We're gonna bring our left fingertips up and then down. You'll draw your right hand up and over, turning the right palm to the left, and then drawing the arm over the ear. Again, pull your right hip towards your heel or the earth. Relax your face, your jaw. Breathe into the side body. Bend your elbow if that encourages you to relax the upper back. Let yourself explore the body with that breath. And when you're ready to, one more time, we'll come to the first side. So you can draw your right fingertips down. And as you exhale, drawing the left arm up and over. Maybe this time some of you bend your right elbow. Keep pulling the left sit bone down. Expand through the left side of your body. Take another big breath in through your nose. And exhale, letting all the breath come out. When you feel ready to, we're going to inhale, transition. We'll come to the second side. Right hand starts to face to the left. And then we'll draw the arm over the ear. Maybe some of you bend that left elbow down to the earth. Spiral the heart open. Bend your elbow if you need to. And then this time when you're ready to exhale, we're going to draw the right hand forward. And then you're going to draw the left hand there as well. So it doesn't matter, however you're seated is fine. If you're up on your heels, you'll look like you're coming into child's pose. If your legs are crossed, that's fine too. You're just going to start to walk your hands away from you. And as you exhale, tipping your pelvis and letting yourself start to relax the body over the legs. So some of you, maybe you're more upright, and that is totally fine. If you're more upright, still just tilting the pelvis and eventually reaching those fingertips a little further away. For those of you who are melting all the way down, think about tucking your tailbone. Think about actually rounding the low back and giving yourself permission to relax. Take another big breath in and let all the breath come out. And then when you're ready to inhale, we're going to draw ourselves up into a tabletop. So again, depending on how you're seated, some of you might roll over your knees and some of you might just kind of roll up into a tabletop. Beautiful. So again, if any of you have blankets and you feel like you want a little cushioning under your knees, you can bring a blanket under your knees. We're going to spread the fingertips away from the center of the palm. And then when you're ready to exhale, we're going to round the back, coming into a cat pose, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone. When you're ready to inhale, opening up, draw the heart forward and bring your gaze to the sky, even if your eyes are closed. As you exhale, we're going to round, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, pulling the navel to the spine, pushing the earth away from you. And then we're going to inhale, letting the belly relax, tipping your tailbone up. Maybe bend your elbows. As you're ready to exhale, one more time, we're going to round the back. And then with this nice rounded back, you're going to curl your toes under, lift up your knees, and then draw yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Beautiful. So when you come into down dog, I'm going to give you 5 breaths, and you can always move around. If you tend to be tight in your hamstrings, bring your feet as wide as the mat. If you're tight in your upper back, bring your hands as wide as the mat. Let yourself take your dog for a walk, so you can bend one knee, maybe bend both knees. Let your hips shift left and right. Relax the neck. So eventually we want the ears to be hanging in between the arms. We're going to take another big inhale, bringing the breath in to explore and letting all the breath come out so that we participate fully with the entire world. When you're ready to, take one more inhale, come up high onto your tippy toes, and then we're going to exhale and we're going to tippy toe forward towards our wrists. So as you bring your feet forward, let the toes line up with the back of the wrists. For those of you who are feeling less flexible this morning, press your palms on your shins and straighten your arms. Keep your hips over your ankles. If you can bring your fingertips down to the earth, placing them under your shoulders. Beautiful. Feel as if you're drawing the shoulders away from the ears, crown of the head away from the tailbone. So again, we're gonna be here for 5 breaths. If this feels intense for you, bend your left knee and just work on the right leg. When you're ready to transition, you can bend the right knee and work on opening the back of the left leg. If you're able to keep both legs straight, allow yourself and give yourself permission to feel like your sit bones are spreading. So you're softening and elongating the glutes. Maybe some of you start to curl your toes away from the earth. So you're building a lot of strength in the hamstrings. And when you're ready to exhale, you can bend your knees as much as you'd like to. We're gonna forward fold. So you can bend your knees until your belly comes on top of the legs. Tuck your chin to your chest. If your fingertips are easily able to touch the earth, consider bringing the back of the hands down to the earth and massage the wrists. You can always move just like we did in our down dog. So if it feels good for you, allow yourself to shift your hips. Maybe allow yourself to exhale, hollow out the belly, press the heart closer to the legs. Really relax the neck. I'm going to encourage you to keep tucking the chin to the chest and visualize, believe that one day the crown of the head will get closer and closer to the earth, elongating the side body. When you're ready to exhale, we're going to come up halfway back into Ardha Uttanasana. So crown of the head is coming away from the tailbone. If your hands are on your shins, you're going to start to bring your fingertips down to the earth. And then we're all going to start to bend our knees in slow motion, like we're coming through a chair pose. You can always use your hands. Yeah, you guys got it. And you can bring your hands behind you if you need to and sit down. Beautiful. Was that scary, you guys? Okay. We're going to come all the way down onto your back. And you're going to keep both your knees up to the sky. And so as your knees are up to the sky, the reason for this is for anyone who has issues in your low back, I want you to draw the navel in, touch your sacrum down, and pull your tailbone forward. So you're lengthening the spine as much as possible. When you're ready to inhale, we're going to come into a half happy baby. So you're going to bring your right knee into your right armpit. You can interlace your fingers at the back of the thigh and actually touch your right elbow to the earth. Or you can bring your right hand to your right ankle or your right pinky toes. And then all of us are going to flex the foot. You can bring your left hand to your left hip. As you exhale, you're going to try to bring that right knee and quadricep all the way down towards the outside of those right ribs. So you'll start to feel the part of your hamstring that connects into your glute. And you'll start to feel your glute all stretching. Again, allow yourself to use that exhale and the arm muscle to bring that right knee and quadricep down to the earth. We're going to take another inhale and exhale. When you're ready to, we're going to start to inhale and we're going to reach the right toes up to the sky. So you're lengthening the right leg. So again, depending on your flexibility, you can release your hands to the back of the right leg, maybe the calf muscle, the ankle, or even the big toe in the pinky toe. Flex your foot for a moment so that you open the back of your right leg. And then when you're ready to exhale again, help yourself draw that right leg closer in towards your torso. And if you need to bend your right knee, that is always okay. When we first started, I talked about pressing your sacrum to the earth, and I want to make sure that you're still feeling that connection. If it feels really strong, maybe you extend the left leg. So you're reaching the left heel away from you, and the knee can come out of that bend. So if you're holding up high on your leg and your shoulders are rounding away from the earth, I want you to exhale and bend your elbows and soften the shoulders down. Allow yourself to feel that scissoring action and go slowly with yourself, like you're having a cup of tea, right? So you don't need to hurry, it doesn't have to be dramatic. Just kind of seep into this pose. We're going to take another inhale and another exhale. When you're ready to inhale, for those of you who extended your left leg, we're going to bend the left knee up to the sky, and we're going to draw the right ankle on top of the left leg. So we're coming into this figure 4 shape. You can take your right hand towards your right knee and press it away from you, staying right here. Or if you'd like to, as you inhale, draw this figure 4 up and in towards your heart. You can interlace your fingers either on the back of the left leg or on the top of the left shin. And then just like we've been doing, use your exhale to draw the legs in closer towards the body. So we're going to feel this again, especially in the right glute, the right hip, the right hamstring. Maybe if you're in the sun like I am, you can imagine the body just kind of melting under that nice heat and that warmth. Take a big breath in. Feel the outside world being invited inside. And let yourself exhale, sharing the inside all the way outside. So when you're ready to, we're going to exhale. We're going to gently release wherever we're holding on the left leg. You'll come back into this figure 4. And then we'll take a little twist. So you're going to bring your right foot over to the left side of the mat. You're going to stay in that kind of figure 4. Your right knee will be up to the sky, and if it tends to fall down in towards your torso, take your left hand and push it away from you. And the more you allow the right knee to fall away from the torso, the more space and toning you're going to find in between your belly button and your pelvis, right? That naturally soft spot on most of us. So just kind of enjoying a little bit more sensation. You're going to take another inhale. Let yourself exhale, again melting under this nice California sun. And then when you're ready to inhale, we're going to come back up into this figure 4. So you can stamp your left foot flat, and then you're going to cross your right leg on top of the left. So the knees are together, and then you're going to draw the knees up and in towards your heart. You can lift up your head and either hold on to the outside of your shins, or for some of you, reaching towards your pinky toes. Yes. And then squeeze the legs together. Draw the heels away from each other. Yep, you can also hold on your shins. It's the same thing. Now see if you can drop your head back down to the earth. Relax the shoulders. Wherever you're holding onto, we're going to take a few moments to decide what creates more sensation for us. So maybe for some of us, this is enough. Maybe some of you continuing to hold onto your toes or your shins, you're going to start to reach the knees up to the sky. And the heels might come closer to the outside of your hips. Keep squeezing the legs together. So I honestly don't think one variation is more advanced than the other. You just might feel a little bit more sensation on the outside of the hips, deciding which one feels better for you. So we're going to take another inhale. And exhale, again, melting under the sun. Take another inhale. Let those toes move away from each other. And exhale. So when you're ready to unwind, you can again lift up your head. If your knees are away from you, draw the knees in towards your heart. Let go from wherever you're holding onto, and then slowly uncross your legs and come into a little love ball. So you can bring the knees up and in and hug yourself. You can rock a little bit left and right if that feels good for you. You can kindly whisper nice things to yourself for showing up. And then when you're ready to, we'll come back into that first variation where our back was on the earth and both knees were up to the sky. Okay? So again, take a moment. If you tend to have an arch in your back, push your sacrum down and pull the tailbone away from you. So you're really lengthening your spine. From there, we're going to start to draw ourselves into a half happy baby. So the left knee will come into our left shoulder. You can interlace your fingers on the back of the left thigh, or maybe both hands towards your ankle, or left hand to the outside of the pinky toe. Bring your right hand to the top of the right hip, and as you exhale, drawing that left knee and quadricep all the way down towards the earth. So one side might be really wildly different than the other. For some of you, this might not feel as intense. For some of you, it might feel more intense. Allow yourself to try to relax the left glute. Keep flexing the left foot, eventually bringing that left ankle right over your left knee. If I could touch you guys, for some of you, I would bring my hand onto the sole of your left foot and then pushing down to help you bring the knee closer in towards your ribs, yeah? So when you're ready to, we're gonna start to transition. As you inhale, you can let go from wherever you're holding onto, point your left toe to the sky and bring that left leg straight, okay? Then from there, you can interlace your fingers wherever you'd like, on the back of the left thigh, the calf muscle, the ankle, or the big toe and the pinky. Allow yourself when you exhale to just gently bring that left leg down towards your torso. And you can bend your knee as much as you need to. You're going to intensify the stretch in the hamstring and the glute. Notice that your belly is drawing in and you're pushing your sacrum down to the earth. If that feels pretty good, you can extend your right leg, drawing that right heel away from you. So it's like you're scissoring your legs. When you exhale, that's your chance to gently draw that left leg in a little closer and build that synergy again with your core and your glute and your hamstring. If you're holding up really high on your leg but your shoulders are rounded away from the earth, roll your shoulders back. Consider adjusting the grip further down the leg. We're going to take one more inhale. We're going to let ourselves exhale. When you're ready to, if you extended your right leg, we're going to rebend the right knee up to the sky, and then we'll all guide our left ankle over our right quadricep, coming into this figure four. And as you come into this figure four, some of us might just press our left hand into that left thigh, hanging out here. Or you can start to reach this figure four up and in towards your torso. Allow yourself either to interlace the fingers on the back of the right thigh or maybe the front of the right shin. And then really hug the legs in and down on the exhale. And you can imagine you're like a piece of chocolate and you're just starting to melt under that sun. Building that sensation and that sense of ease in the left glute and the hamstring, in the belly, in the shoulders, in the low back. Let yourself bring all the breath in and let yourself allow all the breath out. So as you're ready to exhale, we're going to gently release wherever we're holding on the right leg and draw the right foot to the earth. Keep your legs as they are, and we'll come into that funky twist. So you'll drop your left foot over to the right. Left knee is up to the sky, and if you need help, use your right hand to push the left knee away from you. So again, you might feel this on the outside of your left hip. You might feel it right below your belly button. Allow yourself just to take a few moments here to explore that sensation. Like if you were like me and you wore those low-rise jeans in the 1990s, this is right where you're feeling, right? Like right where that low rise would be, right underneath the belly button, kind of riding around the hips. So when you're ready to come out of this pose, we'll use our inhalation to transition. We'll stamp the right foot flat. And then you'll allow yourself to bring the left leg so it's crossing over the right. Squeeze the legs together and then draw the knees up and in towards your heart. Lift up your head. And then you can bring your hands to the outside of the shins or maybe the pinky toes and come here with a beginner's mind. So one side might be very different than the other. Once you've found your grip, allow yourself to relax the head back down to the earth and then explore what variation feels better for you. So just squeezing the legs and pulling the toes away from each other, or maybe starting to draw the knees up to the sky. The heels might come to the outside of the hips. If you are holding your breath, come into whichever variation allows you to breathe the most deeply. So we're going to take 2 more breaths, and whatever your variation, you're squeezing your legs and you're pulling the feet away from each other. You're going to feel like the outside of your hips are relaxing or elongating. And we will use our inhalation to transition. So whenever you're ready to inhale, you can lift up your head. You can gently release from wherever you're holding onto. We'll come into that love ball. So bring both the knees up and in. Give yourself a big squeeze. The nose can come to the knees. Whisper something sweet. Thank yourself for showing up. And then when you're ready to, we're all gonna roll up back into a tabletop. So you can roll on your spine, get a little bit of momentum, come forward, hands will come to the earth. We'll come over our knees. And if that felt like too much, you can always roll over to your side. So once you come into your tabletop, we're all gonna drop all the way back towards our heels. And then you're gonna reach your hands to as wide as the mat or even wider. You're gonna let yourself bring your forehead down to the earth. And then if you can imagine a cobra, like a king cobra, when you inhale, flare the outside of your arms away from your heart, like you're building the hood of the cobra. Then when you exhale, allow yourself to melt the armpits down. So feel like you're opening your upper back. So one more time, as you inhale, flare the upper arm bones out. And as you exhale, melt your armpits down. We're gonna take 3 breaths. So as you're feeling that space in the upper back around your armpits and the arms, keep pushing your sit bones back down towards your heels. Keep softening and feeling space around your sacrum and your hips. We're gonna take another inhale, building on all of that sensation of opening and expanding. And you're gonna exhale, let yourself melt, hips to the heels, armpits to the earth. When you feel ready to inhale, just lift up your forehead a little bit, and we're gonna walk our hands over to the right side of the mat, and maybe even off of the mat. Your left hand will stack maybe on top of the right, and if that doesn't happen, it's okay. Keep pulling your left hip all the way back and down. So you're arcing the side body, just like we did when we first met after our meditation. You're gonna take another big inhale, opening through that left side. And as you exhale, reach your fingers away from the left hip. When you're ready to inhale, we'll transition. So you'll walk your hands through the center of the mat, all the way to the left, maybe off of the mat. Maybe you stack your right hand on top of the left, or you can just bring your thumbs to touch. Pull your right hip all the way back. Start to feel that opening again around the hood of the cobra, underneath your armpit, on the back of the shoulder blade. Take another inhale and expand. And as you exhale, melt and pull the fingers away from that right hip. When you're ready to inhale, we're gonna walk the hands back through center. You're gonna lift yourself back up into a tabletop. You're gonna curl your toes under and then lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. So once you come into your down dog, take one big breath, relax your neck on the exhale. And then as you inhale, we're all gonna draw the right leg up and back into a 3-legged dog. As you exhale, bend your knee and draw the right foot forward to the outside of the right pinky. So you're gonna drop your left knee down, and for a moment you can stay up on your palms, or if you have a block, you can bring a block, or you can come up onto your fingertips, okay? We're gonna take a big inhale, and we're pressing our heart forward along with our hips, yeah. So we're gonna take a big breath here, like a cobra or an up dog, right? And then as you exhale, we're gonna offer a little bit of movement. We're gonna pull the hips back and straighten the right leg, maybe even drawing the right toes up to the sky. Yes! So as you inhale, draw the hips forward, rebend the knee, bring the heart forward, maybe look up to the sky. And then as you exhale, pulling it straight, flexing the right foot. One more time, we're gonna inhale, pull it all forward, stack the knee forward or on top of the ankle. And then exhale, let yourself come all the way back, and we're gonna hold it. So when we hold it here, if you flex your right foot, you'll feel the back of the right leg open. Some of you might bend your elbows a little bit to help you relax the shoulders and the upper back. You can let the chin touch your chest. Pull your tailbone away from the crown of the head. Anchor down through your right heel and pull the right sit bone back away from that heel. Keep reaching your fingertips forward. We're gonna take one more inhale, and we're gonna exhale completely. When you're ready to inhale, we're gonna rebend. That right knee is gonna come over that right ankle. Beautiful. So palms are gonna get flat underneath the shoulders. You're gonna curl your left toe under and lift up the left knee. So this is the dragon. And I want you to increase the sensation by anchoring down through your palms and pulling the left heel back. So when you pull that left heel back, it might not be something I can see, but you'll start to feel the psoas. The top of your left hip will start to lengthen. Keep drawing your right knee forward, sculpting that right knee in towards your right shoulder. Keep pulling that left heel back on the exhale. We're going to take another inhale and an exhale. All right, we're going to come into Skandasana. I'll talk you through it, okay? So when you're ready to, you can pop up onto your fingertips. You're going to start to shift your hands over to the left side of your mat. All of your toes will face the left side of the mat. You'll look at your left foot. You'll draw it at a 45-degree angle. And then as you exhale, bend your left knee in that same direction. Maybe some of you start to drop your sit bones down to the earth. And you're going to straighten the right leg, just like we did earlier. Yes, beautiful. So if you're leaning forward, that is okay. Think about pushing through your left pinky toe and opening up your hip. Maybe some of you start to bring your right hand towards your heart. Maybe some of you bring your left hand together in prayer. Yes. So we're going to take a big inhale, reaching the crown of the head away from the tailbone. When you exhale, try to let the back of that right leg open up a little bit more. Beautiful. Yes. Inhale. And exhale. You guys still like me? Okay. Inhale. And exhale. Take another inhale. And exhale. So when we shift, we're going to use our inhalation. So you can use your hands, or maybe you push through your left foot. You come all the way back to the top of the mat. So all of the feet are facing forward, and there's one hand on both sides of your right foot. Is that your mom? Can you tell her to turn this way? Yes.
I have problems with my back.
Oh, okay. So when you're ready to, we're going to start to draw our right toes over towards the left wrist. And then you're going to start to draw your right knee down to the inside of your right wrist. Okay? So if you know how to come into pigeon and you know where you want to go with this, that's great. I'm going to teach the most gentle pigeon because I know a lot of us don't have padding for our back hip. So you're going to let yourself sit down onto your right hip. Okay? And you're going to bend your left knee out to the side. Right? So it's gonna, I'm not mirror imaging you, but it'll look like this. As much as you can, paralleling your right shin to the top of the mat and flexing the right foot. So this is just like that happy baby. You can start to bring your hands forward, and as you tilt your pelvis, you'll start to feel the right glute and that right hamstring. Yeah, okay? And then a lot of you can extend your left leg behind you, and you're sculpting the top of the quadricep down to the earth and the top of the foot. I know a lot of you want to forward fold, and you're totally welcome to forward fold. You can come down onto your forearms. And then imagine I've come up behind you and I'm gently pushing at the upper back, like a nice warm, yes, California sun. Give yourself permission to melt a little bit. Let yourself let go a little bit more, like you're sharing not just the exhale, but even that physical armor around the back of the heart, just removing it and taking it off. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. Allow yourself to, again, soften with your exhale. Soften with the warmth. I'm going to take another exhale. So if you've really melted over your right shin, you're going to use your inhalation to start to lift up the forehead and bring your hands towards the earth. We'll all bring our right hand towards the right, so I'm not mirror imaging you, and you're going to swing that left leg forward. So I'm going to give you a couple options. Some of you are going to come into what I'm going to call like a figure 4. So your left leg will be straight and the sole of the right foot will be to the inside of your thigh. The other option is for you to come into square pose or fire log, where you stack the left ankle on top of the right knee. Okay? Whatever you choose is the right thing to do, because we're opening up our hips, right? So even if you've come into this pose, we're trying to relax the left knee down. And if you come more into the tree pose or the figure four, we're relaxing that left knee down. So you guys look pretty comfortable here. If you'd like to, you can bring your hands forward. Yep, so we're tilting the pelvis. So I know everyone's feeling this on the outside of the hip, so am I. You're gonna take a big inhale. And as you exhale, keep tilting, let yourself go. So if you remember, the very second pose we did was that child's pose, or that forward fold over the crossed legs. We're going a little bit deeper here because of the position of our legs. Try to meet yourself where you left off from that pose. Let yourself come here for the 5 breaths, being kind and gentle, like you're offering yourself a cup of tea. And get really familiar with the discomfort, because as soon as you get comfortable with it and friendly towards it, it doesn't have to be something that you're running away from or holding your breath. Which is part of this journey this morning. So we're going to take another inhale. Let yourself melt on that exhale. One more big, deep, full inhale. And let yourself completely, fully exhale. So when you're ready to inhale, you'll lift the crown of the head back up to the sky. Okay, I know you guys still like me. I'm not mirror imaging you. Your right hand will come out to the right. Whatever you're doing with your left leg, you're gonna pull it back behind you. Both hands will come to the top of the mat. You'll lift yourself up and you'll step that right foot to the back of the mat, coming into a downward facing dog. Okay, so it might seem like a long time ago, but we're gonna start on that second side. So when you're ready to, you're gonna inhale and lift up that left leg, 3-legged dog. As you exhale, start to draw your left foot to the outside of your left pinky, and then drop down onto your right knee. Beautiful. So this is where we played with that kind of extension on the back of the left leg. So when you're ready to, first we're gonna pop up onto our fingertips, or if any of you wanna use that block, you can bring a block underneath your hand. When you're ready to inhale, you're really pushing your hips forward. Like, see how much information you can get here, yeah. And then as you're ready to exhale, we're gonna pull our hips back. Maybe you anchor through your fingertips. It's okay if you need to slide your hands back. You're gonna draw your left toes up to the sky. When you're ready to inhale, coming forward and going that distance, pushing the hips forward, opening the heart, maybe looking up, yes. And then exhale, pull it back, draw your navel in, search into the back of that left leg. One more time, we're gonna inhale, pull yourself forward, and then we're gonna exhale, and this is where we hold it. So as you pull your hips back, keep reaching your fingertips as far away from your shoulders as you can. Maybe you bend your elbows so that you can relax the upper back. You can tuck the chin towards your chest. Let yourself really anchor down through that left heel. And then from that anchor, you're pulling the left sit bone back so that you're really opening up the back of the left leg. As you take the next 3 breaths, if you need to bend the left knee, that is always okay. But imagine that you're pulling the sit bones back away from the heel. You're pulling the tailbone back away from the crown of the head. Feel yourself extending through the side body and the back body. Let the breath get really smooth. And whenever you feel ready to inhale, we'll start to transition by rebending the left knee. So you're gonna bring your palms flat, right? And then you're gonna curl the right toes under, and we're gonna lift the right knee up. So you're pulling your left knee in towards your shoulder so that you're kind of building a little bit more sensation on the inside of your thigh, your glutes, and your belly. Pull your right heel back. And again, it's something I might not see, but you'll start to feel this opening at the top of your right hip. Take another big inhale. And as you're pushing the earth away from you, it's like a lot of yang energy, right? And then when you're ready to transition, we're gonna come into a wide-legged forward fold before we go into Skandasana. So you're gonna walk your hands to the right side of the mat. All the toes are facing the right side of the mat, and I'll give you a couple variations. So for some of you, you might pigeon toe your feet, your toes are slightly in and the heels are slightly out. Some of you might decide you want to widen your stance. So especially if your hamstrings are tight, wider might be better. If you tend to be really flexible, you can actually bring your legs closer together so that you have more space to kind of hinge forward from your hips. Okay. So then as I'm watching you from this position, think about drawing your hips over your ankles, bringing more weight into your hands. Yes, beautiful, you guys, beautiful. You're gonna take another inhale and then let yourself go deeper. Hinge from the hips. Imagine that you're gonna touch the crown of the head down towards the earth. You can walk your hands in line with your toes, or maybe you reach your hands towards the pinky toes. We're gonna take 5 more breaths here. Think about what I said about keeping the hips in line with the ankles. Let yourself naturally draw a little bit more weight towards the balls of the feet. Feel that spreading in your sit bones, just like Ardha. Relax the chin to the chest. Maybe you feel the crown of the head starting to touch down on the earth. Let the shoulders fall towards the earth as well. You can bend your elbows. Let the breath get really smooth. Letting all the breath in and all the breath out. When you're ready to inhale, first thing I want you to do is bring your hands under your shoulders and then let yourself come all the way up. So the crown of the head is reaching away from the tailbone. So now we're gonna look at our right toes at the back of the mat. You're gonna draw your right foot out at a 45-degree angle and then gently starting to lunge the knee in that same direction. Yes, yes. Beautiful. So as you come into this position, if you're more in a higher squat, that's totally fine. The thing that all of us need to be mindful of is pushing more energy out towards the right pinky toe. That's going to keep your hip open. As you start to gain a little bit more flexibility, the left leg is going to start to stretch longer, and maybe you sit your sit bones all the way down to the earth. If you're able to get that low, look at your left knee, right? Make sure it's facing up to the sky. So you're turning on that inner thigh just like we did in that dragon pose, yeah? You're gonna take one more inhale. I know you're smiling under your masks. I can feel it. Yes, you got it. So just when you think you can't do any more, you're gonna push through that right leg and we're gonna Skandasana to the top. You're gonna bend your left knee in the same direction as the left foot. Yeah, I know it's different than the first side. So this time I'm gonna invite all of you to come a little bit lower with that exhalation. Nice. Now you're gonna draw yourself into a lunge facing the top of the mat. So your left hand can come to the outside of your left pinky, right hand to the earth, and then twist so you're in this lunge. Yes. You're gonna toe heel your left foot all the way towards your right wrist. Let yourself come into this pigeon pose. So the left knee is in front of the left ankle. I'm going to demonstrate what I think is a more gentle variation, which is to let your right knee come out to the side. Yeah, so this is good for anyone who generally likes to have a blanket or a block under your hip. You can let yourself come onto your left hip. That's totally fine. You'll parallel the left shin to the top of the mat. And in this way, when you let yourself tilt forward, you will feel the left glute and the left hamstring starting to open. If eventually you come down into your forearms and you're not feeling that strongest sensation, that's when I suggest you start to open that right leg. And maybe on this side I can show you. Really sculpt the top of your leg to the earth, right? So the knee is actually not out to the side. The knee is facing down. Your right heel is up to the sky and you're pressing the top of the right foot to the earth. Yeah, you can look behind and check yourself. And then if I was able to touch you, for a lot of us, I would come towards the top of your back and I would gently push your right shoulder down. I might bring my hand to the right side of your hip and sculpt that right hip down as well. And then some of you draw your fingers towards the top of the mat, and let yourself melt a little bit more, just like you would do in a child's pose. We're gonna take another inhale, and we're gonna let ourselves completely exhale, like we're melting in the sun. And take another inhale, and let yourself completely exhale. So when you're ready to inhale, you're gonna lift up your forehead, bring your hands down to the earth. If you need to, bend that right knee. Let yourself swing your right leg forward. So you can either come into this figure four or the tree, or you can bring your right ankle on top of the left. So when you come into this pose, take a moment to really set it up. So the feet are flexed, sit bones are grounding. Allow yourself maybe to close the eyes and notice how you're feeling already. And then all of us, whatever your variation, you can start to tip the pelvis and bring the hands forward. So I keep talking about chocolate, right? But just like honey too, right? It crystallizes when it gets cold. But if you let that honey start to warm up, it starts to feel more flowy, right? And it's equally sweet either way, right? So for those of you who still feel tight, that's totally fine. Just taking your time to be gentle with the breath, with the physical body, with the emotions and the mental space that we're carrying in the pose. I'm going to take a couple more breaths here. If you're able to continue to forward fold, allow yourself to go a little bit deeper, especially with the exhalation. Maybe dropping the forearms onto the shins. Maybe dropping the elbows onto your block or the earth. Maybe letting the palms touch down. And then being really honest with yourself. Relax the muscles in your face. Relax the shoulders. Relax the upper back. You're going to take another inhale. And one more exhale. And then when you're ready to, you're going to lift the crown of the head up to the sky. And whatever your variation, you're just going to bring your hands behind you and you can straighten out your legs into a straddle for a moment. Okay, so this used to not be my favorite pose, so I totally know how you feel if it's not your pose, your favorite pose either. So I'm going to give you I'll give you lots of variations so that you can come into your depth. The most important thing is not what you look like, it is how you feel. I really actually mean that. This is not just like feel good talk. I really mean it. I'm trying to make eye contact with all of you so you believe that, okay? So we're going to draw the right heel in towards our pelvis, okay? And then we're going to bend the left knee up to the sky. And then we're going to bring both of our hands to the pinky toe side of our left foot. Okay, so this might already feel challenging for some of us. You can draw the heel down in front of you. That is totally fine. If you can start to draw the heel up as high as your heart space, awesome. Yeah? Maybe as you exhale, you draw the heel in towards your collarbone. Yeah, so this is like pigeon. Maybe some of you draw the foot into the eye of the elbow and you rock your baby. So we're going to take about 5 breaths in some variation that I just described. So like I've said many times today, you can feel it in your sit bone and your hamstring and your hip and with your breath. I'm going to take another inhale and exhale. Okay. So from here, you can totally stay here, or maybe you come back to this position. Okay. And you're going to take your right hand out to the side and you're going to start to lean towards this right hip, and you're just going to reach this foot up to the sky. Okay, so if you look more like this, that is really awesome. If you're able to straighten the leg, flex the foot, then soften the shoulder away from your ear. Yes, we're going to be here for 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, and some of us might choose to come back into that variation, or I'm going to show you one other variation. Okay, you're going to take your right hand around the top of the left foot and you're going to bring your fingertips around the pinky toe. Then you're going to take your left arm underneath this left leg. Okay, And maybe you're here. Maybe your back is really round and you're like, this doesn't feel good. But when you inhale, you're gonna press the left leg into the forearm and you're gonna lift the crown of the head up to the sky. That's gonna be the first part. Some of you might come a little deeper. You're gonna let yourself come towards that right sit bone again, and you're gonna push through your left fingertips, and you're gonna start to straighten this left leg. Yes, and we're gonna be here for 5. 4. Are you like, she's counting slower this time? And 3. And 2. And 1. And you're gonna come out slowly, and you're just gonna cross the right ankle in front of the left. And you're gonna reach the crown of the head up to the sky. You can bring your hands on top of your knees or your thighs. Close your eyes. Stack the back of the head over the sacrum. Let the shoulders soften from the ears. Feel the inhale coming in through your nose. And let yourself exhale whenever you're ready to, all the breath out. Relaxing the muscles in your face. Relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the tailbone. Alright, so we're going to go to the second side, just clearing out. When you're ready to, you can gently flutter your eyes open. So you'll just open your legs as wide as you want to for a moment. And then we'll go to the second side. So this time we'll bring the left heel in towards the pelvis. And we'll bend the right knee. We'll lift up that heel and we'll hold either the pinky toe or the big toe side of the foot. Yeah? Or maybe you wrap both your hands around the pinky toe side. So this side is very different for me, and you guys will see it. So like I said, come into the depth or the cues that make sense for you. You might decide you just want to hang out here, right? Maybe some of you start to bend your elbows and you bring the foot towards your collarbone. Maybe you bring your arms around the knee and the sole of the foot. Yeah. And we're going to be here for 5 breaths. So some of you might just, be in stillness. I like to move. It kind of helps me open up a little bit more, especially in this hamstring. So just feeling the sensations in your body. Noticing what you're thinking already. Try to clear that out. Yeah, if it's not positive. And then when you're ready to, again, this is where we might have some variation, okay? So some of you might hang out here. Some of you might like that first variation where you're going to take your right hand to the pinky toe side of the foot. Left hand will come to the left. We'll lean. Let yourself lean over. And then just lift the leg up. So for those of you who are bending your left elbow, part of it is lifting away from the earth, right? And then we're not just like, bless you, we're not just holding our pinky toe. We're kicking the heel away from us. We're flexing the foot. We're trying to one day bring this leg and our ear next to each other, okay? So you can hang out here, or if you want to play with that second variation, you're going to let yourself bend that right knee, and we'll take the left hand to the top of the foot, and then hold your pinky toe, yeah? And then the right arm will come underneath your right leg, okay? So here too, just like I said before, part of it is straightening the torso, which for me is very difficult on this side. Think about pushing the heart forward and kicking that heel away from you, yeah? Then maybe you let yourself kind of fall to the left sit bone and you reach this leg by reaching through the heel, by pushing through these fingertips. Start to feel the leg and the arm coming to either side of your ears for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Beautiful. Let yourself come back to the seat. Whew. So when you come to the seat, let yourself close your eyes. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Bend the elbows. Let yourself take that breath in. Maybe you feel the sun just come out behind the clouds. Let yourself exhale. Let all the breath come out. Take another inhale. And exhale. So when we came out of that first seated meditation, we just opened up the side body, and that's all we're going to do now. So you can keep your eyes closed if you'd like to, or open them. Bring your right hand out to the right and draw your left arm up and over your shoulder. Turn your palm to the right, and now see as you bend over what's different now than when we first met. And maybe it's nothing. That's okay. Let yourself reach those left fingertips away from the shoulder. Maybe some of you are still bending the elbow up to the sky. That's totally fine. Maybe some of you, the arm is straighter and you feel more comfortable dropping the left sit bone down or letting the left knee come down. When you feel ready to inhale, maybe keeping the eyes closed, reach those left fingertips up and ground them. As you inhale, drawing the right arm up, palm will face to the left. Drawing the right arm maybe over the ear or not. Maybe you're bending the elbow. Let yourself enjoy the next couple breaths. Take another inhale. And another exhale. This time when you're ready to inhale, we're going to reach the right fingertips up to the sky, and then also the left hand. You're going to bring your hands together in prayer above the crown of your head. You can interlace the fingers, pressing the palms together, and then release your pointers. Box your ears with your arms, feeling how nice and strong the torso is, right? So the navel is pulling in to support the low back. Arms are flailing open, kind of like we did before with the hood of the cobra. The more you press your palms together, the stronger the arms are going to feel. So this is like your sword or your weapon, and not for slaying people, but for slaying doubt and uncertainty. And so even as you come into a yin practice where we invite a lot of that sweet energy in and we sit for tea, that act in itself of being vulnerable and creating space, a very powerful tool, right? So we're going to take another inhale, opening up the heart, opening the upper back, feeling into our strength. And when you feel ready to exhale, you're going to bring this prayer down towards your heart. And as your thumbs come towards your breastbone, you can undo the rest of your fingertips. You can gently tuck your chin. Just feel the quality of your breath. Take about 5 more breaths. You don't necessarily need to count them, but just be here for yourself. As you allow yourself to exhale, eventually you'll relax the hands down on top of your knees or your thighs. I'm going to give you a couple variations for your savasana. Some of you might continue to sit upright. Some of you might decide you want to lie down on your back. If you're someone who's more fair-skinned and if this feels intense, you can take a face-down savasana, which is when you stack your hands and you let your face come down on top of your hands. So let yourself choose what you want, and it's always okay to stay seated or to lie down. Both of those are good choices. Whenever you find however you'd like to be for your savasana, you're going to allow yourself to just close your eyes, and I'm going to guide you through a very gentle meditation. So as you choose to lie down or sit and you close your eyes, just notice what part of your vessel, what part of your body is touching down on the earth. And allow yourself to soften a little bit more of your weight there. So if you're seated, allow yourself to feel a little heavier through your sit bones and the muscle and the back of the legs. If you're lying down completely, really let yourself feel through the back of the skull and the shoulders, right? And the back of the hips, the outside of the ankles. Give yourself permission to let the pinky toes flop down. So it's really only when we allow ourselves to soften that we can start to process or receive more information. And So before I begin this meditation, I'm going to remind all of you, it is okay if you can hear my voice but you're not paying attention. That is always okay. You're processing just the sensation of what you went through or what you're going through. I'll call us all out together at the very end. Wherever you are, you're going to start to draw a deep breath in through your nose. And you're going to exhale out through your mouth. You're going to draw another inhale through your nose. And you're going to exhale out through your mouth, softening again the physical body wherever it is touching down on the earth. Do this again for yourself. Soften, touch down. So I know this time in all of our lives can be challenging. And from what I hear, I think there's maybe some fear or anxiety about this unknown. But I want to remind you that there is a lot of fertility in the unknown. Lessons and sweetness in the unknown. So when all of us begin, especially sometimes that spiritual journey or a new project, we're coming into the unknown. Sometimes we know we need to take the next step, but we don't always have the past experience or the experience of another in terms of advice. And yet we take that first step and we go forward. So I'm going to remind all of us that even though this whole situation is a novel experience, just as many of us, all of us have traveled somewhere in our life to that unknown place for that new experience with those new people, can be very exciting. It can be very exciting to go somewhere where you do not know the language and you don't know anyone's story and no one knows your story. It's almost like falling in love for the first time. Let yourself believe and know these things right now. Allow yourself to take a breath into that experience. And let yourself exhale. Take another inhale. Always as we travel and experience and love in this unknown, there's this sense of wonder. The wonder can be, what will happen? I wonder. What is happening? Almost as if an awe. Yourself be excited for this amazing travel experience we're all having. It has brought you here this very moment to this beautiful place in Sonoma County. This very moment where you're having this unknown but shared experience with each other. And let that be a reminder that none of us is alone. Let yourself take a big breath in towards your heart. And let yourself exhale. feeling. It might be this wind on your skin. It might be the sunshine or the shadow. Maybe some of you can hear the water or friends on the water. You can hear that gentle, comforting hum of industry. You can hear the heartbeat inside your body. Pretty wonderful, full of wonder. And if you can approach the next moment, and this afternoon and the next day with that same awe and appreciation and wonder, you will find the way through this. Take an inhale through the nose. You can exhale out through your mouth. So if you've chosen to stay seated, allow yourself to be here. If you've chosen to lie down, allow yourself to start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take a moment then to circle out your wrists and your ankles. And being so sweet to go in both directions or all the directions. Whether you're seated or laying down, you can draw your arms up above your head. If you're lying down, you can stretch your legs away from the center. Let yourself really pull in those two directions. Lying down, maybe you choose eventually to bring your knees up and in towards your heart. And for one more time today, you can come into that little love ball, tucking the knees in, hugging yourself, whispering kindness, thoughtful things. And then only when you feel ready to, you can choose whichever side you'd like to roll over to, extending that arm, rolling over onto that side. Maybe continuing to tuck the knees up and towards your heart space. And then eventually you can push away from the earth and come to a forward-facing seat. And as you come to face forward, if you choose to use any blocks or blankets, or even your own heels to sit up on, you can do that. Allow yourself again to draw the shoulders over the hips. And you can close your eyes if they're open. And before we do anything else, let me thank all of you for sharing your energy. Thank you for coming together. And then when you're ready to, we'll all inhale and we'll draw the arms up over our head. We'll press the palms together, creating a prayer for your health and your happiness and drawing it down to your own heart center. And then from here, my most favorite part, we're gonna close our class with a single round of Om. So if you're feeling shy about Oming, that's okay. You can always just listen. If you would like to Om, you're gonna exhale out through your mouth. And then we'll inhale through the nose. hope all of you enjoyed today's practice. Thank you again. Have a beautiful afternoon. The light in me bows down deeply to the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.